Hello everyone and welcome to PAXP Gamers episode 18. On this show we have all kinds of news and we're going to cover the World Video Game Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that should be fun. Boom.
Sir, drop the mic, let's pack it up and go home. Right?
We did the show in less than 30 seconds.
Wrap it up. Dude, did we have the exact same intro last time? I feel like you said the same thing. I feel like I said the same thing. They're all blending together. I don't know. This is a different episode, I assure you. This is not a rerun.
And for those of you wondering if you're like, well, what happened to last week's episode? Unfortunately, Roman had to depart for the week to go enjoy a little bachelor party fun. So he's back now, and we can continue. Yeah, in Texas. Hey, that's where I'm from, so I can appreciate it.
So, can you comment
on how... you're like, oh.
Victor, can you comment on how flat it is? There's nothing, like, it's just a flat plane.
Yeah, it is super. Well, I mean, it's the Great Plains of the Midwest, right? Or, South or whatever they want to call it. But, yeah, it's very flat. And I would say mostly, well, not mostly brown, but kind of brown.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of green. I would say if God was designing the world in... like Maya, like 3D, a 3D program, Maya, right?
Yeah.
Texas would be the easiest one to design because it'd just be one flat plane.
Hey, do you think that's where this whole flat Earth theory comes from? Like, well, the state of Texas is flat, so
maybe that's where you'll live.
Yeah. I mean, the world must be flat, right?
Anyway, actually, maybe we should look into that. Actually, in fact, so the flat Earth theory, I was watching some documentaries about it not too long ago. It's freaking crazy, dude. Like, one of the theories they have is that the world is one flat plane, right? And it has this invisible dome over it, right? So the bottom's totally empty, like beneath it, right? But the top of it has, like, where we live, like above us is like this big dome. Mm-hmm. And the reason that we're not floating around everywhere without gravity, that there is no gravity, right? What they think is that we're flying upwards at 9.8 meters per second squared, right? Because that's at what rate objects fall to the Earth. So they think that we're constantly flying up through space, like just barely missing objects somehow, like missing everything. Whoa. Or maybe there's nothing in space at all. But like that's what it is. Like there's one big flat rock that's just constantly flying forward in space.
So we're basically, and the universe is gigantic. So technically they're saying we're ants on a flying spaceship through space.
Yeah, which I guess isn't too different from the current model we have, where it's just like a ball.
Yeah.
Floating around another ball.
In this case, it's half a sphere.
So here's the question: are they really that crazy, or are we just blind to the truth?
Don't tell me they're converting you.
I don't know. As I'm talking through this, I'm like, my God, it makes just as much sense as anything else.
No, it does not.
Wait, here's why. Here's why it makes just as much sense. It's because we don't know any better. Like you, myself, and anybody else that we know have never actually been up in space, right? All we have is some dudes in lab coats telling us, hey, this is how it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but why go to great lengths? Why to alter the reality of what the Earth is? If it's round, why would they go to great lengths to lie to us? There's no benefit.
Okay, my argument's just falling apart. I have no idea. Moving on. This is a video game podcast, not a flat Earth podcast.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Episode 18. Bam. You want to start off with the news?
All right. On the news. So the first thing I want to cover is 3 big games came out very recently. Mm-hmm. The reviews are in, and the 3 games are Sea of Thieves, A Way Out, and Far Cry 5. Have you looked at the reviews for each of these?
I have, but why don't you surprise us and myself with what you know?
Here's the big shocker. Sea of Thieves, Metacritic, 69.
That's
below a C-.
Yeah.
That's really disappointing. It's disappointing, especially considering that I'm an Xbox fan, right? This was a game that had so much promise, and it was something to look forward to for all the Xbox fanatics.
Now, is that
69?
Is that rating like for good, or can it still fluctuate? Because it's still very soon in the release of the game. I would think that.
I mean, it might fluctuate a little bit, but most of the big ones are in. So,
because those are actual critics, and they've already criticized the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I see.
and that's what it's at right now. It's 69.
Well, what about user review, or what's that based off of?
I don't
Do you
know.
know?
It's probably a bunch of Sony fanboys giving it zeros.
Because I thought I kind of noticed it getting somewhat good reviews.
I mean, so if user reviews are honest, right? Most users, they probably haven't dedicated as much time as the critics have. Just because like a critic would have 40 hours straight, like a full works week to play this game, right? And a user probably wouldn't have that because they have an actual job. So I don't know if they're like as reliable in a game like this that it requires a lot of time. But the main complaint with Sea of Thieves was just it feels like you're grinding for the sake of grinding, right? There's not really anything to do. Like, I mean, there's things to do. I shouldn't say that. There's not anything to do. There's nothing to advance towards, right? There's the rank of like legendary pirate or whatever,
which somebody has already received. I think a streamer.
Yeah, but even then, like after you get that, what next? Like, it doesn't feel like there's really something to go towards. And it's because I think part of it, at least, is because all of the unlocks that you get through progression are just little cosmetic items. Like, there's nothing that really changes the way you play the game. There's no gameplay changes, and which could be a good thing in the sense that, like, if you're somebody, like, let's say you and me, like, we don't necessarily play games every night, not even close, right? We play like maybe once a week, and with that, like, if we were to hop out and hop back in like once a week, the good thing is that we're on an even keel with everybody else, right? That nobody can be like way far above us like they were, say, in the Division, right, or in Destiny, where they have like way better weapons and they'd be able to use like these tricky power ups or whatever the hell it is, right?
Yeah.
In Sea of Thieves, everything's balanced, which is nice. But on the other hand, it's like beyond just playing, it doesn't really offer anything. And so I think the best way to summarize it was actually summarized by one of the guys at IGN, who said that Sea of Thieves, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said Sea of Thieves is kind of like going to a bar and playing pool, right? So as long as you look at it that way, where you do it for the sake of having fun with friends, rather than progressing into something bigger, like, it's a really fun game. But if you're looking at it in terms of like actually progressing a character and growing that character, it's ultimately hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see. Isn't that kind of the complaint, or not necessarily complaint, but the issue it had during like the alpha or the beta, or not necessarily the recent beta right before it, but like before that, when people got to, I guess, play a little bit of it, that was like the complaint. Like, there wasn't enough content. There wasn't something that you had like you say, a progression towards.
Yeah, that was the concern, right? But nobody really knew for sure, because betas are often just like a chunk of a game, not the full game. So maybe people thought that, hey, this is maybe in the actual game there'll be more.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. And that's it. On the other hand,
so what do you think? So you think it's going to drop off fairly quickly, or you think it'll gain steam? And
what? I think Sea of Thieves is the perfect game for the Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass. And I am actually, so you know how we talked about Game Pass before in the past, and I was like, I wasn't really gung-ho on it, and neither were you. Like, neither one of us really thought of getting it. But now I'm seriously considering getting Game Pass, because Sea of Thieves, maybe I'll play it for a month or two, right? So I could spend, say, $20 on the Game Pass and play Sea of Thieves for those 2 months until I'm bored of it. And instead of paying $60 for this new game, I'll only pay like $10 or $20.
Yeah. And then by that time, maybe State of Decay 2 will be out, and then you can play that.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll be good. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
At this point, who knows? So next up on our list, A Way Out, which got a Metacritic score of 80, at least at the time of when I checked this. And A Way Out, for anybody that doesn't know, is a co-op only game. It's couch co-op or online. And what's really neat about this is, like, let's say you buy this game, right, and your friend hasn't. The game will let you play it with even if the other person doesn't have it, it'll still let them download and play the game with you, as long as you have the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, that's heck tight.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. So that game got a user score of 80. It's not a very long game. It'll take about 6, 7, 8 hours to beat in total. But it's from everything I've seen, it's a really fun game. Check it out, and it's unique, which is nice. And last up on our list is the big one, Far Cry 5. And highest rated of all these games at a nice steady 81 on the PS4. It was an 84 on Xbox One, but I think it's just because it didn't have as many reviews on the Xbox One. So let's just go to 81. Overall though, it's Far Cry 5. But the only thing I would say, there's one thing I was disappointed with in Far Cry 5 is that I think my favorite part of all of the Far Cry 3 and 4 was the hunting element. Right, where you stalk the prey, you shoot it, you take its skins, and you make cool stuff. That's gone.
Really?
Yes.
They took the crafting thing away?
Yeah, you can still kill animals if you want to, but the crafting is now replaced by just powering up, leveling up.
Oh.
So you're not really incentivized to do all the cool hunting or anything that you did in the past, which really sucks, right? Because I really, really, really enjoyed that.
So wait, so you don't hunt the animals anymore to craft a bigger ammo cache or a bigger ammo bag or belt.
So from what I haven't played it, but from what I've put together from others who have, is that you don't. You basically have kill these type of bad guys 3 times and you get this upgrade. Silently kill somebody else. Kill this dude with a flamethrower. Whatever, right? Do little achievements, right? And that's what you get. So you don't have to really hunt. You don't have to hunt anymore at all. Which sucks.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Sucks
that was
so
bummer.
bad.
I did because there's there was certain missions or say something I was supposed to go to a new area of the map and I wouldn't want to proceed to that new area until I upgraded my weapons, how many weapons you could have, because in the beginning you can only carry 2 and then you can progress and craft your belt or whatever it is to carry 3 and then 4, and so I wouldn't go past a certain point in the game until I felt that I upgraded the right thing, like my ammo bag or how many grenades I can carry. So if they eliminated that, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it really, really sucks.
Because I think that added a good depth to it.
Here's another bummer. That's not all. So another thing I really enjoyed about Far Cry was that it wasn't like Halo, right, where you felt like this ultimate Spartan that could just destroy everyone in its path and you feel super empowered, right? You had to be sneaky and you had to be smart about how you approach different parts of the game. Right? You have to actually stealth your way through different parts and assassinate some enemies stealthily. Now is a much lesser of an impact on that because from the reviews I've seen, it basically you could easily just run into the middle of the base and just shoot everybody and you'd be fine.
Oh man, I like the stealth part aspect of it.
Yeah, so they made it easier. Yeah, exactly. There's 2 things that I really, really enjoyed about Far Cry, and they're both gone.
I really enjoyed the stealth aspect in Far Cry 3. It was so good, and I think that's what made me play that game 3 or 4 times over, because I just loved invading the bases in different manners of stealth. It was just very good. Yeah. I didn't like it so much in 4, and I think the reason because a lot of the bases were within cliffs or something, so you always had to rappel up to it or rappel down to it or something like that, or it was really tight knit, a corridor of mountains, So I didn't enjoy it too much in 4, but I loved it in 3.
I liked it in both. I thought, again, our opinions obviously different in this case, but I thought that in both 3 and 4, I thought they were both really well done, and I'm disappointed to hear what it's like in Part 5.
Yeah, I saw a headline of the story. I didn't read it because I didn't want to read any spoilers, but the headline of the article for Far Cry 5 was bad ending or something or an ending that wasn't very well. So I don't know. And am I under the impression that there's multiple endings in this one?
I'm not sure.
Or is there just one?
I did read also that the bad guys were nowhere near as memorable as in the past. Even though so I know Far Cry 3 had a very memorable bad guy boss, right?
Yeah.
Who stood out among the video game enemy crowd, and 4 was criticized for not having quite as strong a character, but I thought he was still really good. Mei Jingping or whatever the hell that guy's name was. I thought he was really good too. And this one is supposed to be even weaker than the others. What seems to be what seems to have happened with this Far Cry is that they've reduced the seriousness and upped the goofiness. So it's kind of becoming like what Saints Row became to Grand Theft Auto. Far Cry is becoming that to like, a Skyrim or something, right? Where it's still open world, but it's just becoming like this really silly thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I don't intend on getting it anytime soon.
Yeah, I'll probably. I mean, I still have to beat 4 games. And dude, speaking of games I'm playing, so I think I told you like 2 weeks ago, my Xbox literally burnt.
Your
right?
Xbox One X Scorpio Edition.
The Scorpio Edition, it burnt itself, filled the house with smoke, and so I obviously Microsoft took it away and I sent it off to them. They already the cool thing is after they got it within 1 day they already sent me an email saying they're sending me a new one back.
Is it going to be a Scorpio Edition?
It better freaking be.
It better fucking be. They better put Master Chief on the outside too.
Dude, if it's not a Scorpio Edition, I'm gonna have so much freaking sand in my vagina. I can't even tell you.
Well, you'd have a right to have that sand in your.
Yeah, damn right. But yeah, so anyway, that's a cool thing. The bad thing is that it's gonna take 2 weeks to deliver. I don't know if they're sending it by like a hot air balloon or what, but 2 freaking weeks to deliver.
Wait, aren't they over there in Kirkland, just right across
from
the water?
Their repair centers across the country.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know why. But anyway, with that said, I today, so like yesterday, actually this whole week, I've been incredibly productive. Like my productivity is risen to a whole new level. Because I don't have video games to distract me. Like, all I have is a Nintendo Switch in my house now because my PS4 is at my girlfriend's house. And I mean,
so what happened to your other Xbox One?
Oh, I said her. So the other Xbox One and the PS4 both are at her house somehow. God. So all I have is a Switch at my house, and I started playing Mario for about 10 minutes, and like this is ridiculous. Like, this is a good game for playing an airplane, but that's about it.
Oh, you don't like Mario that much?
I mean, I like the old ones. This new one, I'm not the biggest fan of. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's okay, but
it's a really hard game to play after you start drinking. Like, you really need precision when you're trying to make those damn jumps.
Yeah,
like, it's ridiculous.
It's
so
fun.
Anyway, so you know what I started playing today? I finally had enough of this no game thing and just being way too productive. So I started replaying the original Deus Ex that came out back in June of 2000.
On what, your PlayStation 2?
No, on the PC.
Oh, on the PC.
Yeah, dude, it's 18 years old. I cannot tell you how impressed I am still with this game. And like, I keep thinking back, like, how did they make this so good? And I think obviously it has like a really good story, right? It has some of the best, if not the best, like progression trees out there, right? Like not in the sense that you progress your character, but how you progress through a level, like all the different ways you could get through it. But I think what really sticks with me is that the intrigue is. Like, I don't know how they built up each level. Like, even though it looks so rudimentary by today's standards, right? It's like, it really is blocks. But something about each level and everything, how the story and everything mixes together in that level makes me want to keep pushing forward. So much to where just today I've spent 4 hours playing this damn game. Like, I just can't help it. Like, it's 18 years old. Yeah. It's older than probably most of the listeners we have. But it's so good.
Damn.
Yeah, anyway, that reminds me though, have you given Human or Mankind Divided another shot yet?
No.
Dude, why?
Dude, I just have so many other games I'd rather play.
Oh my god, it's so
and I'm so good. Backlogged on games, dude. Like you
What
said
are you playing now?
Oh my god. I'm playing Bloodborne since it's free on PlayStation, and it's pissing me
That's a really hard one?
Yeah, it's pissing me the hell off. Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Well, I'm starting to understand it now, which I didn't really quite get. Like, I didn't realize that your weapon can break. So I was like, why are these people taking so long for me to kill them? I thought I can kill them in like 1 or 2 like slashes. And I looked it up, and it was like, oh, your weapon can break, and you have to repair it. Well, I didn't know that because the game doesn't explain it. So that once I repaired the weapon, I started really getting into the game because I was actually lasting and not dying as much. And So I'm understanding the mechanics of upgrading your character. I'm understanding the mechanics of farming your souls whenever you collect them, and instead of just continuing and dying and then losing them all. So I'm starting to understand now how the game operates, which makes it easier for me, which is actually making it more interesting now, because I'm not raging to the point to where I'm like, at first I was pissed off. I was like, I hate this game, but I'm getting there. And then I freaking started Final Fantasy 15, and I'm like, I don't know, a couple hours into that, and I'm playing a lot of.
You got a long ways to go with that one.
Yeah, I'm playing Fortnite. I play a couple rounds every day of that. That game is super fun, dude. It's so fun. I can see why it's so popular. It's so much fun. And then I had to start The Last Guardian for PlayStation.
That's the one with the dog?
Yeah, with the giant dog with wings and has yeah, and that one, those kind of games I love. So I can't wait. Oh, and then I'm in Zelda, dude. I'm like 10.
You haven't beaten that game yet?
No, dude. I'm like 10, maybe 15 hours in on Zelda. It's crazy, dude.
Spoiler alert: that game isn't that hard. Like, I mean.
Oh no, it's not.
Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. It is incredibly hard, I think, in the beginning, like first 10 hours, and after that, I think after you maybe beat the first two bosses, it becomes so much easier. Mm-hmm. Right, and the final boss is isn't that difficult anymore either. But it's after you beat all those, and then I would say for anybody who hasn't, who's still playing through that or who wants to play through that, up northwest area of the map, that's where you get that master sword from the the reference to the Ocarina of Time or I mean virtually every Zelda, right? Yeah. But that master sword makes such a big difference because it's the only sword in the game that won't break permanently. It'll break for a period, but then it'll repair itself over time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's really cool to have, and I think it won't break at all if you're fighting. I think Ganon. If you're fighting Ganon, it's just the sword. It is the sword to have because it's super powerful and it won't break permanently.
Yeah, nice. That's cool.
Yeah, Zelda's a really good game. I would replay it again, but I know I won't be able to beat it in 2 weeks. That I need to get my I'll get my Xbox. So there's no point in starting it again.
Then just get the DLC and play the first. Or is the first DLC even out?
There's 2 DLCs out now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the first one wasn't that good. The second one's supposed to be pretty good. But honestly, I'd rather replay Deus Ex on the PC because it's so freaking good.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, with that said,
well, I have. Oh, yeah. Continue.
Oh, in other news, God of War 4 has a performance mode, and I thought this was super smart, super cool until I read that other games have it too.
Performance
before it.
Oh, really? What games?
Yeah.
And so wait, first of all, what's the mode and what games have it?
So what the performance mode does is you could choose either you want to play it in 4K at 30 frames or 1080p at 60 frames. And I was like, that's brilliant. And then I looked it up, and then other games have it too. So it's not that novel. For instance, Witcher 3 has it.
Yeah.
So it's not novel
Wait,
at all.
so where... I've never seen this. So where do you select this at? In the options?
Yeah, in the options.
Oh.
Yeah, either video or I don't know, whatever, right? But Witcher, I mean, obviously the 4K won't help you.
Oh, but probably only the enhanced version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's only for God of War 4 or any game really. On any game, it's if you have a PS4 Pro or Xbox One X.
Yeah. Okay. It makes sense. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, you have that option on PCs that are capable of that. So
yeah, and Witcher's got the same way where it's God of War 4 is 4K at 30 frames. Witcher is 4K at 30 frames, and they're really big games, right? So it got me thinking, are there any 4K games at 60 frames a second?
Not on console, I wouldn't think.
Oh, but you're wrong because you know what?
What?
Forza 7.
Really?
And I had to throw Forza in there. I just had to do it. But yeah, I looked it up.
Shocking.
I mean, there's others too, right? But Forza 7 is 60 frames, 4K, and not just 4K, not upscaled 4K or whatever, right? It's native 4K. Which is a pretty big deal.
For the Forza lovers, I guess.
Bow to Forza. Okay, so I have two more bits of news. One, No Man's Sky is coming to Xbox One.
Yeah, I saw that. Who cares though, right?
Yeah, for all of you that want to waste your life playing a game that doesn't matter, please play this game. It comes out not only on Xbox One, but it does come out on Xbox One, but it comes out in 4K with HDR. But here's the thing, Victor. It comes also with a really big update that's supposed to add, I think, story elements. I paused there for a second. I'm thinking, like, what the hell is it supposed to
Will
do?
that update will only be for the Xbox model? Or
No.
So it's just for the whole franchise in general.
For the Xbox, it won't be an update. It'll just be like part of the game, right? For the PS4, it'll be an update. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. At this point,
it's crazy. They're still like trying to evolve that game or like and continue enhancing it. I don't know. I thought it was a lost cause.
It's like, I would say at this point, it's like PS4's version of Sea of Thieves, where it's a game they poured a bunch of resources into. There was so much hype, and it came out, and it was okay. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't like anything revolutionary, right? Like, in Sea of Thieves, at least the difference is that it may not have a lot to do, but it'll let you do it with friends, right? Mm-hmm. No Man's Sky, there isn't a lot to do, and you have to do it alone. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, right? Like, it was like a very lonely, boring game. But, and I tried it not too long ago. I played it a little bit again. It felt like the exact same thing I played before, so it wasn't, I don't know, I didn't get into it. The last piece of news I have is freaking huge.
What is it?
So, you ever heard of a little game company called Valve Software?
No, never have.
So they made tiny little games like, I don't know, Half-Life, Portal. Yeah. Right? Nothing to brag about. Except just kidding, because Half-Life is fucking huge. So Valve is officially just released a bunch of information about their new game.
Half-Life 2 or Half-Life 3.
Even better. It's a game called Artifact.
Oh, what?
Except that it's super lame because it's just a card game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just a freaking card game. It's a card game based on Dota 2. So it's like, if anybody's played Hearthstone out there, right? Or Magic the Gathering, it's basically that. So if you really like card games, you probably like this. But come on, freaking A, they made Half-Life and Half-Life 2 and Half-Life episodes or whatever, Orange Box. Like, why can't they just make it a freaking sequel? Instead they make a card game.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Well, you know why? It's because Hearthstone has done an incredible job of monetizing the video game, free video game, right? With microtransactions. And so Valve obviously saw that, and they want some of that moolah. Mm-hmm. And so they came out with their own card game, and there you have it.
Damn. Well, you know, people like those games. You can't deny it. I mean,
dude, I love Hearthstone.
I mean, look at The Witcher's card game Gwent. That game was amazing in The Witcher 3. They tried to bring it out, and I haven't played it. The adaptation that they made of it.
It's just like playing it. Yeah, it's just like playing it in the game.
Nice. Do they have a mobile version?
No, that's the thing.
Damn. See, they need to bring it to mobile
version. Yeah, that's what makes all the sense in the world, right?
You know what would be cool?
What?
Oh, you know how you can play Words with Friends?
Yeah.
It's like, right? Well, you play Gwent with friends. Like, you don't have to necessarily play in real time. You just guys take your turn whenever you do it on your phone.
Yeah, it could be cool.
Yeah, you know?
I mean, it makes sense, yeah, because like you just take... Actually, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a card game. Why not?
Yeah. Or, I mean, you don't have to do it that way, but I'm just saying.
Gwent with friends. Call it that. Call it Gwent with friends.
Oh, my gosh.
It sounds hella gay. Okay,
anyway.
you have any news you want to follow up on?
Just really quickly. So, free for the PlayStation Plus coming in April. A game I'd want to mention is the Mad Max game. And it got a Metacritic of 69.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't a great game. Yeah. It wasn't a great game. I think 69 is accurate. But I think it's still one worth playing, especially if it's for free. Because I think a lot of people will like this game because it's kind of... who doesn't know the stylistic artistry of Mad Max. I mean, it's like in the desert, barren lands, post-apocalyptic. So you kind of have that open world sense. You have the vehicle. You have your little sidekick who looks like Hunchback of Notre Dame that tags along with you. And it's a really fun game. And if it's free, so I suggest anybody who has PlayStation Plus to get it. Their second game is Trackmania Turbo. I don't know what game that is. Who cares? It got an 81 Metacritic, so pretty good.
Dude, I got you beat.
Yeah.
Xbox's April game
Uh-huh.
got a perfect 10 from IGN.
Yeah, no one cares.
Really?
What game was it? What game was it?
The Witness.
The Witness. Oh, I heard something. Oh,
I'm
actually, The Witness
so-
looks pretty good.
Yeah, that game I'm actually gonna download because that
Yeah.
does look really good.
Yeah. And then they're permanently dropping the price of the PlayStation VR from $399 to $299. So dropping it $100, probably because aren't they making a newer version of it?
Yeah, I think they are because they are making a newer version.
Yeah.
And they've said that the PlayStation VR I think is the highest selling of all the VRs, but that doesn't really say much because as far as I can tell, VR isn't really selling that well to begin with.
I've been seeing, yeah, like I haven't noticed VR really gaining steam, but what I have noticed is a lot of games are coming out dedicated to VR, which is kind of weird because I don't see the correlation.
Like big games or small games?
Big games, like you have Skyrim, you have Doom, you have.
Oh,
I mean, there's a whole slew.
both of those games you just named have come out previously for console non-VR a long time ago.
Oh no! I mean, there's adaptations of it.
So
but
they're not dedicated to VR, right? They've already come out before.
Well, no, but they're dedicated as in they're remade for the VR setting. They're not like.
How's that different than the game coming out that comes out alongside the VR companion?
What?
So like how is that different? Like let's say if I was making a game called.
I'm not saying it's different. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, you say it's dedicated, right? But it's not really dedicated to VR. Like those games are not dedicated to VR because they were originally made for something else. They were just
but they're making
re-released for VR.
But they're making VR versions of them.
Yeah.
That you can only play if you have the VR headset because it's a dedicated game to the VR headset.
I think okay. So we'll agree or disagree there, but I think the saying that it's a game dedicated to VR is disingenuous because.
So when it says Doom VR across the front of it and you can only play that game with the VR headset, it's not dedicated to the VR.
No, because
I'm not saying the franchise.
That same game came out like that Doom VR. Is it not the same game that's not the same Doom that came out?
That's not what I'm saying though. I'm saying the Doom VR.
Dude, you realize how silly this argument is? Like
you're the one one that's arguing that it's not.
It's the same. So here, just so I'm clear, Doom VR.
Yeah.
Is the same Doom that came out on consoles like a year or two ago, right?
And the same Skyrim VR is the same Skyrim that came out however long. Yeah.
All they did was change up the controls, right? To like where you control with the VR, right?
I suppose so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because to me, when you say dedicated game, when you say it to me it makes me think like, oh, it's a game that's exclusive to VR, right? It's a game just for VR. It's dedicated to VR, right? Like,
then you're misinterpreting what I mean by dedicated. You think I'm saying it's a whole new game.
Do you work for VR? Do you work for some VR company? Because it sounds like a lot of marketing talk to me.
Anyway.
Okay.
So that's getting a price drop. Days Gone delayed from 2018 to 2019. No reason given. No definitive date.
And wait, say that again? The last one? Days Gone?
Days Gone got delayed.
Price drop?
Delayed.
Oh, delayed. That's the one with the zombies, right? The zombies in the PS4?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, good news. All around. Okay, so in as far as the rest of our podcast goes, we wanted to dedicate some time to the World Video Game Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
The World Video Game Hall of Fame. Yeah. So it's something that's relatively new. The World Video Game Hall of Fame itself was created by an organization called The Strong, which is an organization that dedicates, I guess, a collection or an archive and kind of a history of what they consider like to be at play or like play interaction. And video games is one of their branches of it. So they created this Video Game Hall of Fame back in 2015, and they've started inducting video games each year. They nominate about, I think, 12 to 13, and then out of those, they actually induct 3 to 4. So this year's nominees are, and each year, I mean, there's titles that we would all know, and most of them are classical games or games that kind of define the gaming franchise, or just the gaming, you know, the gaming culture, as you will, throughout the years.
Yeah, so to get inducted, they really focus on a few different pieces of criteria. One is iconic status, right? How widely it's recognized. Another one is longevity, like how it withstands the passage of time. Another one is geographical reach, like how widely spread it is. Is it a game that's just like in Seattle, Washington, or is it a game that goes all the way across the world? And another one is influence and how it's forced out game design as a whole in different areas of game design, right? With different game companies. And so those are like the four criteria that a game has to possess in order to become part of the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And so I voted on one of them. So like one thing you could do too is like these Hall of Fame games, they're voted on by regular players and an internationally selected advisory committee of journalists, scholars, and game developers, right? Like I don't know how they're weighted one versus the other, but you as a gamer, anyone can vote on what you think the 2018 inductee should be.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but you could also submit your own game that you think should be admitted into this Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
I did both.
Cool. When like just within the last day or two?
Yeah, after you told me about this, I voted for one for the 2018 games. I think I voted for Half-Life. Here's one thing I found that's kind of a problem with this, is that I can go back and re-vote as many times as I want. So I voted 3 times for Half-Life. Yeah. And then I actually also submitted an application for what I think a 2019 finalist should be.
Which is?
Dude, Deus Ex.
Oh, God. It'll never get in.
I don't know. I think it will. And because that, like, the original Deus Ex, if you look at any, like, list of best games of all time, like, you'd be pretty hard-pressed to find, like, a list that doesn't have Deus Ex on there.
Maybe.
I think so.
I don't think it fits the criteria of longevity and iconic, like, world iconic status.
I would totally disagree with that.
Mm.
But yeah, so anyway, so I submitted that and I voted for Half-Life 3 times. And so like just to go down the list, like in 2015, some of the ones that stood out are like Super Mario Brothers, right, which is like an obvious choice. World of Warcraft, another obvious choice. In 2016, they had The Legend of Zelda, like the original, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, Grand Theft Auto 3, all of which were like iconic in their own way, right? And they all presented a new form of gaming as they were released. In 2017, they had Pokemon Red and Blue, Street Fighter 2, Halo Combat Evolved, which amazing game, obviously. And for this year, for 2018, the finalists are Minecraft, John Madden Football, the original from 1988. Tomb Raider, again, the original from 96, Final Fantasy VII, Asteroids, Call of Duty, the original, Dance Dance Revolution, I don't know how that even got in there, Half-Life, King's Quest, Metroid, Miss Pac-Man, and Space War. So I got a question for you, Victor. Have you not played any of these games in the 2018 finalist list?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Is there any game you haven't played?
Oh, that I haven't played. Oh, yeah, I haven't played quite a few of them. I haven't played King's Quest. I haven't played John Madden. I haven't played the Final Fantasy I did play.
7. I mean, you must have, right? Dance
Revolution. I mean, I played it like maybe a couple of times in the arcade.
Yeah, like arcade. Yeah. That is the only place. I mean, it did come out on a PlayStation.
But that's about it. I mean, I've played Asteroids. I played Call of Duty. I played the Final Fantasy.
Have you played Half-Life?
I played that maybe like once or twice.
Oh, did you not like it?
No, I just don't think it was ever a game I had. Like, it was probably somebody's that I played at their house or something like that.
Okay. I really enjoyed Half-Life. But yeah, so like some really big games. Minecraft, I think, like if it was up to me, I'd probably pick one of 3. Either Minecraft, Call of Duty, or Half-Life. I think because Minecraft is just it's such a weird game, but it's so good, and the other two are just like really expertly crafted with the cinematic quality.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably pick Tomb Raider, Metroid.
The original?
Yeah.
Really? Did you even play? You played that then, huh?
Yeah. And then
the original.
And then which one would I probably Tomb Raider, Metroid. And I guess the last one I'd have to pick is probably Half-Life, even though I didn't play it extensively. I mean, I know what it is, and I know what it has done to the gaming culture. So, you know, it's like it's technically, it's like got the reputation of GoldenEye 007. So
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Which I don't think GoldenEye. I don't think is like it's been on the nominees list, but I don't think it ever actually won.
Yeah, I don't think.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's another game like where it's really difficult to find a person who has not played GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, and anybody you talk to was like, "Oh, GoldenEye, yeah, it's such a good game."
Yeah.
I mean, it is a good game.
Like I think anybody who's like in their late 20s, early 30s, or even a little older, I think you could find anybody in that age group that has like fond memories of playing GoldenEye with their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if this was like say like 2019 was a list that you wanted to make for the 2019 winners, what games would you have on there?
Oh man, well I can't go through a whole list of like 12 or 13, but a few that I could probably think of is Mega Man.
Which one?
The very first one, original. Well, I mean the first like 2 or 3 are great, but I would have to go with the first one just because it's the first one. Mega Man, probably Twisted Metal, the original Twisted Metal.
Victor, hang on.
Yeah.
The original Mega Man, was that the one that had like Mega Man that looked like almost like a realistic-ish like an older man on the cover?
I don't remember what the cover looked like. I don't think there was ever a realistic man on there.
Not realistic, actually, an older man. It was like a
well, I mean the villain is like this old like scientist, I think, right? That kind of floats in this little hovering thing.
Is that Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh no, yeah, that is Sonic. Anyway, and then man, even Mario Kart 64, that's a good one.
Oh my god, I hate that game.
What? Dude, Mario Kart's like the best.
Or
it might not even be Super Mario 64. Just the original Super Mario Kart. So yeah, Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I like any of the Mario Kart games very much.
I love them, man.
I feel like I'm so bad at those.
Well, that's because you probably are.
Yeah, I know I am. The bachelor's party the last weekend. I brought up my 64 and somebody else brought Mario Kart. My God, I was so bad at it. I just couldn't get it together. Like no matter what, like I just could not get it together because none of it follows. Like all the controls feel all weird and twitchy.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, I just could not figure it out. And
wow.
Not a big fan. I was surprised to see how bad I was at Smash Brothers because I used to be really good at Smash Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, but again, like that, there's an Asian guy there who just kicked my ass. True story.
That's funny.
So if I was gonna put together a list, I think for 2019, here's a pretty good list. So Skyrim,
mm-hmm.
right? Because it kind of reinvented what the open world is like.
Mm-hmm.
Battlefield 2, because it reinvented multiplayer. Super Mario 64, because it invented 3D platforming.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear Solid, because it showed the world how cinematic games could be, like where it felt like you were in an action movie rather than you were playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
Gran Turismo, because it reinvented what racing games are like. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, because it showed that you need to have patience to be a stealthy assassin, unlike even like Metal Gear Solid, where you can just kind of run up behind somebody, like choke him out for a little bit and then keep running on, right? Splinter Cell Chaos Theory was a very different kind of stealth game where you had to be like almost like a predator waiting in the dark to pounce on your prey. And top of the list would be Deus Ex. Dude, because the game is so good. It's so good. I wish you'd play it.
Yeah, I wish I would too.
I know. You could make both our wishes come true very easily.
So if I were to play any Deus Ex, would you want me to play the very first one or the very last one, Mankind Divided?
No, you should play because like here, you already have Mankind Divided, right? So I think it would make much more sense for you to play Mankind Divided. Like I would say this to anybody listening: if you are a casual gamer that wants to get into a game and you think Deus Ex may be intriguing, I would recommend the last one. If you are like a serious gamer that's grown up with games and you want to revisit a piece of like gaming history gold, I would recommend the original Deus Ex. Like it's much more difficult than games are now, and it's much more complicated because like for instance, like let's say like in the original Deus Ex, you talk to a character, and they might give you a password to a systems, and then when you to a door or whatever, right? When you go up to a door, the computer, the game won't automatically punch it in for you. You have to go back into your log and look up what that character said when he said it, and then use that password to punch it in with your keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty cool, but I mean, I think that kind of like adds to its charm.
Yeah.
Just because it's like it feels more grounded in reality, where you have to actually like I used to have to use my numbers keypad, right, to punch in like 3, 4, 6, 7 to open up this door. It's kind of cool.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's so open. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I wish I were to like into that. I just don't like. It's very hard for me to find a sci-fi game that I can get into. There's very few games like sci-fi was probably the least favorite of my genres of games, I would say.
What's your favorite genre of games?
I would have to say fantasy.
Like Skyrim and stuff, and Zelda?
Skyrim, The Last Guardian, Zelda, yeah. I mean, The Witcher, you know, open world, not necessarily open world, but just fantasy adventure games.
Huh.
Yeah, exploration, I guess.
Yeah, I think exploration is a good way to put it. Where I would say that I think exploration is very important in a game in general, no matter what the game is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if a game, whether it's sci-fi, modern day, fantasy, whatever, right? If it builds a world that emphasizes exploration and entices you to go into the different little areas, I think that's a game that I would like to play, right? Like that's what Deus Ex kind of does for me, where like it doesn't matter what setting it's in. Like I don't know if I was necessarily like really drawn into the sci-fi aspect of it. I think its world is so well thought out, it's so well put together to where like I feel like I want to explore every nook and cranny of it. Like the one thing that's cool in that last Deus Ex and one that you're playing is that like you could hack into people's computers, right? You can do all the old Deus Ex games. You could hack in people's computers, but what's neat is that you will see like you could read their emails, and it's really easy just to brush them off as nothing, right? But if you look closely, those emails are sent from other like actual in-game characters that you'll meet in the game. Like you just walk past them on the street.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like actual like people in the game sending those fake emails. Like it's pretty neat. It's like that little like you think like if that game has that much attention to detail to something so insignificant as that, like how much does it have to offer in terms of exploration? Like as you break into people's apartments to steal their whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's one apartment I remember I broke into, that last game that you're playing, is a crazy cat lady. Like she literally just had a whole house full of fucking cats and cat pictures. It was like something so random and ridiculous.
And you could have passed it up, probably?
Yeah, it was just something totally random. Like I was running around this apartment complex, and like there were these like outside of the window, there's like these little like porches, like tiny little porches you could jump from one to another, and I jumped towards one, and I broke into her house like through her window, and I just happened to get in, and it was like this random apartment full of cat stuff.
That's funny.
Like it's so stupid.
The cat woman.
Yeah,
the cat lady.
It really was.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, well, that's kind of for because I mean I really didn't know a whole lot about the World Video Game Hall of Fame, so I'm sure many listeners probably weren't even aware of it too. So it was kind of fun to kind of dig into this topic because who knows how big this Hall of Fame will grow? Maybe it'll actually gain a lot of international notoriety. I think right now it's kind of gaining traction. I don't think it's because I mean you didn't know about it when I first mentioned it,
Yeah, I
right?
had no idea. When you first talked about it, I thought like it was one of like some random people put together. Right? I didn't know it was part of an actual museum.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's crazy because the Strong Museum
Yeah.
is actually dedicating like this actual physical museum. So it's very cool, and they have a lot of stuff from all kinds of media. Like they have a toy Hall of Fame, they have just a variety of stuff, like 40,000 plus pieces or artifacts, and like a very
Nice.
comprehensive archive of just different digital media, and a lot of it is video game related. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's only been around for 4 years, so
Hmm.
I'm sure it'll grow. I'm sure it'll get bigger and more popular over time. So check it out. Submit your game picks. Who knows? Maybe yours will actually make it, and they might even because like when you submit a game,
Hmm.
you have to write a quick bio about it and why you think it's important.
Hmm.
So maybe they'll even use that. Who knows, right?
That's crazy because I didn't even know you can submit picks. I knew you could vote, but I didn't know you can actually
Yeah.
submit future picks for coming years. So that's
Are you
cool.
gonna submit one?
I am now probably for next year
What?
for
What are you
sure.
gonna
Oh,
submit?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think long and long. I was gonna say think long and hard. My favorite quote. I'm gonna have to think long and hard. I don't know. I'd have to think
Dude,
about it.
I have an idea for you. Why don't you submit Forza? I mean, I read the Deus Ex so might as well.
I'm surprised you didn't submit Forza.
Because I don't think Forza doesn't deserve it.
It's not.
It
It's not
doesn't. It's,
old enough franchise. You think?
it's not even that. It's because Forza hasn't done anything new. Like, where Gran
Oh.
Turismo revolutionized racing games, Forza has only iterated on them, right? It's become better over time than Gran Turismo by a huge margin. And I think better than any racing game on the market. But it hasn't really revolutionized anything, right? It's slowly kind of just grown. So it's not like any one Forza game where I can be like, oh, this is this definitive Forza, right? Because they just kind of like slowly like they change things up and they make it better in some ways, worse than others. But like it hasn't, it's not a revolutionary game.
Hmm.
That's what history remembers, right? History remembers the revolution, not the iteration.
Oh, did you just think of that quote now?